The stars beneath our feet. The planet Erebus 9 was a desolate rock on the edge of the galaxy, its surface scarred by endless canyons and jagged peaks. It was a place where the sun never rose, and the only light came from the faint glow of distant stars and the luminescent crystals embedded deep within the planet's crust. For the miners of the Orion Corporation, those crystals were the reason they had come. They called them starstones, precious gems that powered interstellar engines and fetched a fortune on the galactic market. The mining colony on Erebus 9 was a ramshackle operation, a cluster of prefab domes and drilling rigs huddled in the shadow of a massive canyon. The crew was a mix of hardened veterans and desperate dreamers, all drawn by the promise of wealth. Among them was Kael Voss, a grizzled foreman with a haunted past, and Lira Tann, a young geologist who had joined the crew to escape the stifling bureaucracy of her homeworld. It was Lira who first noticed something strange about the starstones. While the others saw only their value, she was fascinated by their inner glow, a pulsing light that seemed almost alive. She began to study the crystals in secret, using the colony's limited equipment to analyze their structure. What she discovered shook her to the core. "They're not just crystals," she told Kael one night, her voice trembling with excitement. "They're eggs, living organisms. And they're about to hatch." Kael stared at her, his face unreadable in the dim light of the mess hall, her voice trembling with excitement. "They're eggs." "You're saying we've been mining eggs?" "Not just any eggs," Lira replied. "These creatures, they're ancient. They've been here for millions of years, maybe longer. And we've been tearing them out of the ground like they're nothing." The news spread quickly through the colony, sparking heated debates. Some of the miners, like Lira, argued that they had a moral obligation to protect the creatures. Others, led by the ruthless corporate overseer, Orion Thorne, saw only profit. "Do you have any idea what these things are worth?" Orion snarled during a tense meeting in the command dome. "We're sitting on the biggest payday of our lives, and you want to just walk away?" "They're not just commodities," Lira shot back. "They're living beings. If we destroy them, they're not just commodities." Lira shot back. "They're living beings. If we destroy them, we're no better than the corporations that explode us." Kael listened in silence, his mind racing. He had spent his life following orders, doing whatever it took to survive. But this was different. He had seen the way the starstones pulsed, the way their light seemed to flicker like a heartbeat. They were alive, and they were counting on him. The decision was made for them when the first egg hatched. This was different. He had seen the way the starstones pulsed, the way their light seemed to flicker like a heartbeat. They were alive, and they were counting on him. The decision was made for them when the first egg hatched. It happened in the deepest part of the mine, where the air was thick with dust and the walls glowed with an eerie light. A group of miners watched in awe as the crystal cracked open, revealing a creature unlike anything they had ever seen. It was small and fragile, its body shimmering with starlight. It floated in the air, its movements graceful and otherworldly. For a moment, there was silence. Then Orion raised his weapon. "No!" Lira shouted, stepping between him and the creature. "You can't!" Orion's eyes narrowed. "Out of my way, Tann." Before he could act, Kael stepped forward, his own weapon drawn. "Stand down." "Orion." The two men faced each other, the tension thick enough to cut. Around them, the other miners hesitated, torn between loyalty and conscience. In the end, it was the creatures that decided their fate. As more eggs began to hatch, the mine filled with their light, a radiant glow that seemed to pierce the darkness of Erebus 9. The creatures moved as one, their forms merging into a swirling constellation of stars. They spoke without words, their voices echoing in the minds of the miners. "We are the children of the stars," they said. "We have slept for eons. We have slept for eons, waiting for the time when the universe would be ready for us. You have awakened us. Now, you must choose. Will you protect us, or will you destroy us?" The choice was clear. One by one, the miners lowered their weapons, their hearts filled with a sense of awe and responsibility. Even Orion, his face pale with fear, stepped back. In the days that followed, the miners worked together to protect the creatures, using their equipment to seal off the mine and create a sanctuary. Lira and Kael stayed behind when the Orion Corporation ordered the colony evacuated, determined to ensure the creatures' safety. As they watched the last of the eggs hatch, Kael felt a sense of peace he hadn't known in years. The creatures rose into the sky, their light blending with the stars above. "We did the right thing," Lira said, her voice soft. Kael nodded. "Yeah, for once, we did." And as the stars beneath their feet took flight, they knew they had become part of something greater, a story that would be told for generations, a tale of sacrifice, redemption, and the enduring light of hope.